Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide for the year 2022. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, it's Farewell to 2022, the year of pain. Babajide Kolade-Otitoju will be reviewing how the Nigeria's economy, political developments and security fared. Do remember that in the course of the program, we'll take your questions, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Happy New Year in advance to you, BKO.
Happy New Year, Brian, and Happy New Year to everyone who makes it possible for us to do this program every week. Happy New Year to our beloved fans who listen to us every Saturday. We are happy to be associated with them, regular viewers. We are grateful for the support that they give us and the encouragement. It's because of them that we are here, and we remain committed to giving them the best.
Right. Great. So let's begin. There'll be a lot to say, but we'll try to be as brief as we can. Let's start with the economy. President Muhammad Buhari, who was elected to steer the affairs of this country to the promised land, said he has done his best despite criticisms. So let's x-ray his submission first as regards to the economy. For instance, the National Bureau of Statistics said that 133 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. How do you think the economy performed in the year 2022, BKO?
Well, the economy has been going steadily down for some time. It is not something that started in 2022, but I can say that the economy has been going steadily down for about 20 years because, yes, between 2010 and 2011, we were among the 15 fastest growing economies in the world, but things have changed rapidly because of what I would describe as cumulative mismanagement of the Nigerian economy. We cannot continue to give the excuse of the pandemic, which happened in 2020. Why do I say this? Our country was largely spared the ugly distempers, ugly impact of COVID-19 that some of the big countries of the world witnessed. And in spite of that, 2 years after, we still continue to cite COVID-19 pandemic as one reason for the decline of our economy. The economy has not been doing well, and I will say that this has been going on for some time. In 1983, Indonesia's GDP was $81 billion. At that time, Nigeria's GDP was $97 billion. $97 billion in 1983. Now, look at Indonesia in 2021. Its GDP stands at $1.2 trillion. Look at Nigeria, that was ahead of Indonesia in 1983. Our GDP currently stands, that is looking at 2021 figures, our GDP currently stands at $441 billion. It means that Indonesia has grown its economy rapidly to the point that its GDP is almost about 3 times higher than the GDP of Nigeria currently. Whereas the GDP of our country in 1983 at $97 billion was higher than the GDP of Indonesia, which was $81 billion in 1983. So if we have been growing steadily, this would not have been the case. Our GDP has been going steadily down. The economy has been going steadily down. And if the NBS came up with that figure of 1 to 3 million people below the poverty level, how can poverty-stricken people contribute tremendously to the economy? They will be involved so much in the battle for survival. Now, in 2014, our GDP was $546.7 billion. So compare it to what we have now. What we have now is $441 billion. So the economy has been going steadily down. We've not done enough to reflate our economy, to make our economy as strong as it should be. And look at our currency. The value of our currency itself has also been going steadily down. At the beginning of this year, the value of our currency was just a little over 500 naira to the dollar. Today, in the parallel market, it is, which is the unofficial market, it is, this morning I checked, it was around 721 naira to the dollar. And even in the official window, it's been going steadily down as well, because in the last few weeks, we've been recording record lows. It stands at around 461 naira to the dollar in the official market. It has never been this bad. It has never been this bad. So if at the official market, it is already closing in on 500, then people are already suggesting that by immediately after the election, the naira could be devalued. So this is where we are. The economy is gasping. Manufacturers are worried. They do not have access to raw materials the way they would want to have access. They do not have access to forex as much as they would want. And they are bogged down by multiple taxation in a very, very toxic economic environment. There's so much taxation, and these guys are just struggling. A lot of the industries, a lot of the companies are folding up because the economic environment is just not pleasant for them. If you do not have access to raw materials, how do you keep your manufacturing company going? And a lot of them won't have access to raw materials because they need forex to bring in some of these raw materials. So, and then of course, credit. If you provide credit for the manufacturing concerns and you give them credits at double-digit interest rates, it's going to make life unbearable for them. It's going to make things tough for them. And look at where we are with the so-called ways and means. This ways and means is the tax debt owed to the CBN by government agencies, government parastatals. Where government cannot find the funds to pay salary, they simply resort to the CBN and call it ways and means. We are owing the CBN right now 23.6 trillion. I've been complaining about this for some time, that we simply walk up to the CBN to say, give us this money, and then we go and pay salaries and take care of other overheads with it. Now, it is 23.6 trillion. Ways and means. So an economy that is doing well can be going through all of this. And in the year 2022, the flooding that happened across many parts of our country has worsened matters for farmers. Look at Olam. Olam is a foreign company that grows rice in our country. It accounts for 25% of the rice, local rice that we consume in our country. In his farm in Rukuba, Nasarawa State, 4,400 hectares of land, of rice fields, was washed away by floods. That's about $20 million worth of rice produced that year, or being produced that year, that was washed away by flood. So many farmers across our country are also affected, especially in the main production belts of our country. So what we see is a situation in which it will be tough for our people in the year 2023 because food prices will go up rapidly, as we have seen. Prices are going up, and it's all because we lost a lot of farmlands to flooding, and then of course the insecurity also plays its part. Where people feel insecure, they are going to stay away from the main production areas. And if you do not produce sufficiently, there is no way that even the value of our currency can go up. If we do not produce sufficiently, there is no way that we can feed our people sufficiently. Prices will go up and it will be tough for people. So inflation is rising. It's now above 20%. At the rate that things are going, it could even become higher in the year 2023. So, in summary, for the Nigerian economy, 2022 has not been a good year at all. If you look at all the indices, whether it is foreign currency, forex illiquidity that we are looking at, whether it's in terms of the balance of trade with other nations that we compete with, whether it is in the GDP, across all parameters, the economy has done badly.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let me quickly take two comments before we move to the next indices, which is politics. Tony Goodman says, yes, I agree with President Buhari that he has done his best by making us poverty capital of the world. Congratulations to him. And then Fabian Akaize says, the president has always blamed the PDP for the failures of his administration, forgetting that leading members of the APC were former PDP members. He now said, BKO, which I wanted to react to, the president and the VP should not receive pension.
I don't know. I don't know how to say that they should not receive pension. In many ways, I think the administration should have done better, especially in the area of the economy. It's not done well, in my view. The stats are there, and statistics don't lie. I expected our currency to be stronger than this. When you invest well over ₦1 billion in the Anchor Borrowers Program, you want to expect that ultimately it will bring down prices. because that will be the joy of the ordinary Nigerian. But if the ordinary Nigerian is buying a bag of rice at 3 times the price, the ordinary Nigerian is buying. If the ordinary Nigerian is buying a bag of rice at 3 times the price that I used to buy it, then it's difficult to say that the Anchor Borrowers program has achieved anything significant. In any case, a lot of the so-called farmers who took the loans have refused to pay back. It's the same thing with NISAL. NISAL, which is an agency under the CBN, is meant to provide credit for farmers. It gave more than 180 billion out to Nigerians during the COVID season, during the pandemic, and they refused to pay back. So who do we blame for that? So I think the president is right in saying that he has done his best, but Nigerians are the judge. He cannot judge himself. He cannot give himself pass mark. That is for Nigerians to do. We may think that he has done exceptionally well, but I will recall that even the president's wife apologized to Nigerians the other day. Absolutely. That for promises that they could not meet. So let's just leave it at that. The issue of pension, the issue of pension is not even. Nigerians want good governance. I don't think it's the money that Nigerians are after. They just want to live a good life. They want to be safe in their country. They want to be able to earn good money for their hard work. Let me tell you, Ibrahim, any economy in which the hardworking people starve is not a healthy economy. Hard work has to be rewarded. Where hardworking people starve, where hardworking people can find it difficult to survive, then the economy is a deceased one.
That's correct, BKO. So let's change tack by looking at the second indices. For the 2022, the year 2022, it was actually dominated by political activities as politicians and political parties are gearing up for the 2023 general election. So from the 2022 Electoral Act to the Emilokon Eleyi speech and Tinubu's victory at the primary, the obedience movement and the million marches to the G5 governors band and a host of others. How do you review the coming season based on what transpired this year?
It's been a very, very interesting political season. And from very early in the year, we saw a lot of sparks, a lot of happy moments, a lot of signs that the political season will be a very, very active one. Actually, Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to Ogun State to say, look, Emilokon, I have raised people, I have helped people to become president, I've helped people to become governors. It is my turn to have a shot at the presidency of the country. At that point, he felt that efforts were being made to stop him from becoming the candidate of the party. And what he wanted was, look, let the contest be an open one. Do not attempt to force a candidate on anyone. And I think in the end, backed by the massive support that I had from governors, he was able to pick the ticket of his party. But a lot of people do not like the idea of Emilokon. He was talking about himself. He felt that within his party, a party that he helped to put together, that he should be rewarded. He should be allowed to contest freely, and no one should be forced upon the party because he thought he would not be the beneficiary of any consensus arrangement. I also thought that any consensus arrangement would not have favored him, but he spoke angrily, and in the end, he got the support of the governors, and he was able to win the presidential primary of his party by a huge margin. Peter Obi was to contest for president on the platform of the PDP. Before the end of the exercise, he decided to leave the PDP and use the Labour Party platform. Many people had used the Labour Party platform to contest for governor, to contest for this, to contest for that. But no one has used the Labour Party platform the way Obi has used it. Obi has made the Labour Party much more popular than it has ever been. Obi has galvanized the race. By entering the race, he's made this race a 4-horse race, as against the usual 2-horse race or 3-horse race maximum. He's made it a 4-horse race. When you bear in mind the presence of Kwankwaso in the NNPP, Kwankwaso is guaranteed to get some significant votes in some states in northern Nigeria. So Obi has done well. His campaigns, even the choice of places that he visits. For example, when he went to Benue and the heat of the flooding crisis, we tried to show people that he had compassion, and then he's back there to visit the IDPs in Benue on Christmas Day. So he's been well managed by his minders, and he has kept the current electioneering season. He's made it very enjoyable. Asiwaju Bola Tinubu's energy is felt by the fact that he's the busiest of all the candidates who've been going around, visited many states. He's had town halls with business community, town halls with people from different segments of the economy. It's been a very busy last few months for Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. And Atiku too has also kept himself busy, going from point to point and doing his best to garner support. The G5 governors, in my view, are the peak they constitute the peak of this political season, because they are looking like people who could ultimately decide where the pendulum of victory swings. They are products of the crisis within the PDP, crisis which erupted shortly after the presidential primaries of the party, when the national chairman of the party, not realizing that it was being recorded, sheepishly described Tambuwal, the governor of Sokoto State, as the hero of the election, of the primaries. Now, if you are saying that, you are saying that you are happy that Wike did not win the primaries. You are happy about the role Tambuwal played in stopping what looks like a possible Wike victory. So for that reason, Wike and his friends have ganged up against the national chairman and reminded him of the need to keep his promise that if the presidential candidate of the PDP emerges from southern Nigeria, then he will give up his position, because characteristically, the PDP never goes to the general election with the candidate, the presidential candidate of the party, as well as the national chairman of the party coming from the same zone. So the agitation of the governors is a legitimate one, but for people like Atiku, they believe that at this time, it is too close to the election to change the national chairman. What we don't know is whether even after the election, after IU has led the party to victory, whether they will still agree to remove the chairman. So this is the agitation of the G5 governors, and since there is no resolution in sight, I had said repeatedly that I did not foresee any resolution as long as IU hangs on to the position of chairman. Since there is no resolution in sight, it means that these 5 governors will work against their party, and they work against their party. It could hurt Atiku Abubakar badly in that election, because Obi is expected to dominate the election in the southwest. I mean, the south-south. Obi is expected to dominate the election. He's supposed to do well in the south-south. Now, these are states that the PDP have dominated over the years. So, with Obi coming in, and with the generality of our people from the southeast rooting for Obi, Atiku will be unhinged in the southeast of Nigeria. So it is in the best interest of the PDP leadership to resolve the dispute between them and those 5 governors. But I doubt if they are thinking about that. And I think somehow the hawks amongst them are convinced that they can win the election without those 5 governors. Even a ruling party, for a ruling party to lose 5 governors is significant. I remember when the PDP lost 5 governors in 2014, it eventually cost them the election.
Right. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in the coming days. Even though Governor Nyesom Wike has said that they've actually not thrown their weight behind any candidate. They are not exactly backing any candidate. Even though also the vice presidential candidate of the APC said that they are very optimistic that the G5 governors might work for them. Fabian Akaize says, Emilokon is the greatest political speech in Fourth Republic Nigerian politics. Ashwaju was speaking to the audience in front of him, which was misinterpreted by political analysts and influencers. Well, because of our time, I'm getting signals from the producer that we need to move to the very last topic because of our time. So finally, let's look at security. This year, 2022, was also a year of kidnappings, killings, deaths, floods, and agony. According to the Nigeria Security Tracker, it said no fewer than 8,058 lives were cut short violently across the country in 2022. So how many times did you have your heart broken over these kind of news this year, BKO?
When you recall what happened with the train passengers, since one of the most terrible, most agonizing terrorist attacks in our country, for as long as I can remember. People were scared of traveling by road, and they resorted to traveling using the rail transport. What did we see? These guys stormed the train, killed almost 10 persons, and then kidnapped men and women and kids since I think March 28th was my birthday, and they caused the abductees to pay ransom of 100 million naira each. The foreigner amongst them was forced to pay 200 million naira each, and these people were forced to go and convert the money to dollars. They were told, don't collect the dollars from a single bureau de change operator.
BKO, we
A
seem to have
prison
lost.
located in the Federal Capital
Okay,
Territory, so close to the seat of power, to have been stormed the way they did. It says a lot about our internal security. We should have been able to stop this from happening. There were security reports that pointed to the possibility of that happening, but we didn't respond to those security reports, and we allowed them to get away after raiding that prison for more than 45 minutes. I mean, it's a national disgrace. When I remember those two events, honestly, my blood boils, because it shouldn't be happening to us as a country. It shouldn't be happening at all. Bandits also went about terrorizing our people, especially in the northwest and the north central. The southwest was not spared, even though the southwest remains the safest part, the safest geopolitical zone in our country. It was largely unspared because people traveling by road, a lot of them got abducted by kidnappers. Security is the biggest problem in our country. It has stayed like that for years. And so 2022, yes, we recorded some progress in the fight against Boko Haram in the northeast, but the attacks in the north central and northwest have not abated. So we can jubilate about the progress we've made in the northeast, but when we remember the fact that in the northwest and the north central, the terrorists appear to have found a new home where they are terrorizing our people, it dampens the enthusiasm and the joy generated by the progress made in the northeast. It's like you win a battle here and the enemy opens up a new front. So this is the thing. About 7,000 people killed this year. That's significant. And police have not put an end to brutality, which caused our people to resort to the NSAS riots. So generally, I am positive that we will keep improving in the area of security, but the year 2022 is a year that is better forgotten, especially when you bear in mind those two critical terrorist attacks. The train passengers that were attacked, as well as the Kuje prison break. Those were massive attacks that put us to shame as a country. And to even imagine that we try to negotiate with these people to the point that we sent a private jet to bring the wife of one of them and their kids, all the way from Adamawa State, and in spite of that, they still carried out subsequent attacks. It shows that we have to be very serious in our war against these guys. Look at the way people are being killed in Southern Kaduna. They celebrate, some of them, on Christmas Day, they were killed. So we can't have a country in which our people are not safe, because it's also affecting the economy. We need to do better. The country needs to do better security. That is the summary of what I have to say. We can spend the whole day talking about security.
But
we don't have the
we
don't have the time.
But because today is a bit of a special edition, I just wanted to, quickly react to the fact that we had several killings too in the southeast. The sit-at-home order by the indigenous people of Biafra were an unknown gunmen. How do you think all of these activities might affect the 2023 general election? Very quickly.
We have to rein in the boys who are killing people for fun in the southeast. We have to find a way to put an end to the madness that is going on there. You can't say people should sit at home when IPOP, that instituted the sit-at-home order, already I said, look, it is only on the days that Kano is brought to court that people should sit at home. So how do you then enforce sit at home when the person who started it has said, no, Mondays people should go to work, except if Kano is being taken to court. So cultists and other undesirable elements have taken over. And now a lot of our friends can hardly even go to the southeast. Some of them are in Abuja, because they don't want to die. They are targeting politicians. So I think that the governors of the southeast can do a better job of protecting the people than they are doing. It's like the governors have given up. Some of them are even distracted. They are not facing real governance. And the armed forces have to strengthen their hands in these areas. I'm happy with all the arrests that have been made lately, but it has to continue. It has to continue if we are to keep that area safe, and be in position to have free and fair elections in the southeast. Hopefully, what happened during the Anambra election will happen again, because before the Anambra election, IPOP gave the directive for people to go and vote. We didn't know that IPOP would take that decision, but in the end, he told the people to go and vote, and there was no violence on election day. So hopefully, we will see this during the general election.
Latunji Atonda says the Kebbi killings of several persons in a day is actually devastating. Tony Goodman says
more than 88 people. More than 88 people killed in Kebbi South. By bandits coming from Niger State, the border with Niger. As I said, if we are to break everything down, we can only talk in summary because of the time that we have.
Absolutely.
It's terrible. It's just terrible. Katsina is also a problem, a state that we have to look at seriously, because bandits are also running rampant in Katsina. That's the state of the president. But there are at least 9 local governments where bandits are really disturbing the people. And as Fem Falana said, there are many places where elections won't be able to take place. I agree. Because INEC will only deploy ballot materials to places that it deems safe. Even during the by-election in Zamfara State last year, INEC did not deploy ballot materials to places that it knew were not safe.
Right, BKO. So, EO Sunday, thank you for your comments. Won't be able to take your comments. You talked about the Kuje prison incidents, and heads not having to roll. But then we need to call it a wrap for the 2022 edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses, as always, all year long.
Thank you, Ibrahim. We never missed an episode of the program from the beginning of the year, and we'll continue to do that in the year 2023. We look forward to a better 2023, and Happy New Year to our wonderful viewers.
Absolutely. And thanks to you, to our audience, for joining us throughout this year. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm Ibrahim. I'm also at Ibrahim, TVC News. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shitas. See you in 2023. We wish you a prosperous new year. Bye-bye now.